What's up, guys? Today I'm gonna give my top 3 Rick and Morty episodes of all time. I'm doing this right before season 8 drops, just letting you know these aren't just fan favorites. They hit emotionally, thematically, and they're just really fun. So let's just go ahead and get straight into it. Coming in at number 3, we have season 3, episode 3, Pickle Rick.
I'm Pickle Rick!
I know, yeah. It's the meme episode, but I don't just love it because it's a meme episode. This one is a wild ride. It's got science, action, and it's surprisingly deep with therapy elements too. So in this one, Rick literally turns himself into a pickle. He lies to Beth about it in order to avoid family therapy. That's kind of what this episode deals with. A lot of family problems, but that's, it sounds kind of boring on the surface, but when you dive into what Rick's actually going through in order to avoid it, it's pretty crazy. He uses cockroaches, mouse organs, and just his sheer genius to fight off secret agents and this badass guy named Jaguar, who he later becomes friends with. But it's not just a goofy sci-fi fight fest. After everything, we get this raw moment in therapy where his therapist says that the family uses Rick's intelligence as an excuse for his behavior. They dive a little bit deeper into it, and the therapist says that Rick sees his brain as this unstoppable force or an inescapable curse. They say that he sees it as like a dichotomy, but what she then points out that his mind is under his control. He's able to use his mind and make his mind whatever he wants it to be, instead of just using the inescapable curse or unstoppable force as a crutch or an excuse. It's one of those episodes that disguises really deep emotional truths in chaos. And that's peak Rick and Morty to me.
Rick, why did you lie to your daughter?
So I wouldn't have to come here.
All right, now jumping to number 2. We have season 7, episode 10, so the finale of last season, Fear No More. This one hits hard, and we follow our regular Rick and Morty, and they end up going to the scariest place in the galaxy. A Denny's bathroom, and there's a random hole in the Denny's bathroom that they find, and allegedly this hole pits you up against your worst fears. So naturally, Rick and Morty both jump into the hole. At first, everything seems pretty normal, but Rick tries to treat everybody that's there like an NPC, like they don't really matter. Then his wife, who she died in every universe, so he's not able to find her, she appears in here. At first he treats it like he said he was going to, that nothing matters, but very quickly he begins to fall in love with Diane again, and he begins to forget that he's in the hole, or pretend that he's not. The truth that we find out once they get into the hole is that Diane is the one thing that he can't replace. Rick's real fear isn't monsters or death, it's letting go, it's love, it's the possibility of happiness and losing it again. Morty ends up talking to the guy that's running the hole. He pretty much lays out that obviously Rick is scared of love, everybody is, but what's different about Rick is that he's also scared of happiness. He's terrified of it. As it goes on, Morty starts to see that Rick is tearing himself apart. He's getting absorbed by the hole around him. The hole is feeding off his energy. In order to save Rick in there, Morty has to then face his own fear of being accepted. Once Morty starts doing increasingly embarrassing things, the hole starts feeding on him, taking away from Rick's experience in the hole. Through seeing that, Rick then decides to fully let go and end up saving his grandson Morty. But here's the twist. After they save the day, whoop-de-doo, they face their fears, they exit the hole through a series of increasingly crazy reveals that they're actually still in the hole. Morty begins to find out his real fear was that Rick wasn't willing to risk anything to save him, because he realizes that Rick never jumped in the hole with him.
You're not even in the hole, are you?
As Morty exits the hole for the last time by himself, he finds out that, you know what, it's okay. I'm gonna be okay whether Rick is there for me or not. As the episode goes to end, Rick puts a picture of Morty up on the wall of people who conquered their fears on the bulletin board, and it shows that he didn't jump in the hole with him, but he's still proud of him and he still loves him. And I think this episode shows that, one, we're not ready to see an episode of Rick going into the hole and facing his fears, because we don't know what that'll uncork. And two, I don't think Rick's ready for that either. This one ends with this emotional fog. Are they still in the hole? Does it really matter? It's kind of one of those ambiguous open-ending episodes that I like to chew on and think about, and I think is really good. Alright, so my number 1 is the Rick Lantis mix-up. Season 3, episode 7. I fell in love with this episode the first day it came out. This one completely breaks the formula. Like, it's one of the only episodes where we don't follow our main Rick and Morty. Instead, we go to the Citadel of Ricks, which we thought that Rick had previously destroyed. Once we get there, we realize that they formed an entire society made up of Ricks and Mortys. Each of these Ricks and Mortys fills in every single role role in a normal society. You've got homeless Ricks, you've got rich Mortys, you've got police officer Ricks and Mortys, which we follow here, students, there's a plumber Rick. This one has a large sense of world building, but it's the themes that really hit hard in this one because it mirrors real life in a way that even if you place the exact same people, I mean, Rick has the same intelligence whether he's a plumber or whether he's homeless or whether he's the ruler of the Citadel. They're all the same person. Even though they're made up of all the same Ricks and all the same Mortys, they're still forced into this caste system to where we follow a corrupt Morty cop that grows to hate Mortys because that's the only way that he's able to be accepted and to be a cop.
What happened? Same old story. Morty's killing Mortys.
So this one mirrors a lot of real world systems of oppression. Halfway through, we meet candidate Morty, who he is running for president in the Citadel. And it's unheard of because none of the Ricks are going to go for it. No Mortys believe in other Mortys that they're able to become president or anything like that. At his acceptance speech, candidate Morty says,
A message from the Ricks and Mortys that believe in this Citadel to the Ricks and Mortys that don't. You're outnumbered.
And pretty much that speech is what won him the presidency. And that's when we're introduced to President Morty. Candidate Morty becomes President Morty. And as his first act as president, he eliminates all of the Ricks that had been leading behind the scenes and paves his way for his new dictatorship, thus introducing us to Evil Morty, who is a constant theme throughout. There's not very many episodes of Evil Morty throughout the entire series, but he's fan favorite. He's my favorite. I think every episode that we get of Evil Morty, and especially this one, kind of draws into our minds, is Evil Morty even evil? Or was he just the one that broke the wheel? Was he the only one that was able to break away? Was he the only Morty that was able to prove that Mortys can be just as smart, just as charismatic as Ricks? This episode just has crazy vibes, crazy world building, like I said. It's political, it's philosophical, it's tragic, maybe has the best storytelling the show has ever done. Those are my top 3 episodes, from politics to fear holes to pickles. Let me know in the comments which episode you think deserves a top spot, and let me know if you totally disagree or maybe you do agree with some of my picks. Just let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and don't forget that sometimes your greatest fear is letting go, or Denny's bathrooms. Thanks everybody. See ya.